right. Welcome everybody to Nerd Summit 20. This is a virtual version, an exciting experiment. We have prepared a wonderful experience for you and the organizers. Let's see. It's tough for me to see. Oh, if I get this over here. Got Lily on the call, Barbara, all the participants are jumping around, Chad, Cheryl, let's see, I see Gabe helped out a lot. Oh yeah, this is too hard to name people. Rick Hood is also on the call. Rick, do we know if Steve Brewer is going to make it?
I didn't see him signed up, to be honest. What slide do you want anyways? I'm seeing your first slide.
Oh yeah, I haven't changed any slides.
Oh,
Oh
okay,
yes,
no problem.
maybe I should, let me, all right. So now it should be the second slide.
Yep.
All right, so Nerd is something that we started in 2014, and the idea was to try to make it easier for people to join in and learn about this industry, building stuff with software and building user experiences, the digital experiences. And it was originally a Drupal camp, and that started to feel a little exclusive because if you didn't know you were a Drupal person, why would you go to a Drupal camp? So we figured if we made it about all the other stuff we're interested in too, could engage with more people and learn from more people. And it would be something that you could come to and be more browsing around the different things and making your own choice on what technology you wanted to use. So really, we do some meetups across the year. There's an Agile Methods meetup. There's a meetup about Atlassian tooling. Sometimes if anybody else has a regular meetup going on, throw it in the chat. But and then all of that, the idea behind all of that is you can come to those meetups, work on your explaining what you're working on, sharing your stories, and potentially having that build up to being a presentation, like what a lot of people have submitted here. And they can give their talk, and we record it. And if you're trying to advance your understanding of things, one of the best ways to do that is to try to teach it. And if you want to advance your career, a good way to do that is to share your knowledge. And a good way to get into the position to be able to share your knowledge is to practice, and Nerd Summit is a great place to start doing that. This is all possible from volunteers and sponsors. So I'd like to thank the sponsors. They've got the URLs there. A couple of those sponsors have Slack channels. If you're not in the Slack, you should figure out how to get into the Slack team. There are links on the website, but it's nerd.ngo/join. Get you to that that URL. And I think we're going to be continuing a lot of the conversations from the talks in the different channels. The summit channel is, I would say, kind of the general channel for everything happening at the summit. And there are other summit channels, and some of the speakers in their talks will have a channel that they'll direct people to for continuing the conversation. Back to the sponsors. So there's a lot of community sponsors. Keep an eye out for some codes from Manning Publications for some of their books. And otherwise, we want to thank our community sponsors. Keep an eye on the chat and the Zoom chat too. One of the codes from Manning Publications is just posted for 40% off. And for the upper level sponsors, like the silver, the gold, and the platinum, one of the big things about that tier is setting a booth in real life. And so people were really looking forward to that. So what we've done instead is made then the sponsors of different rooms. So that actually the sponsor of this room 135, I believe, is Qubit Coworks. They're down in Holyoke. They're offering, so if you go to qubitcoworks.com, they're offering a 1 month free. I actually use Qubit. It's not a crowded place yet, but they've got a really nice spot in on Race Street in Holyoke. But have a look on the website. It says which sponsor is for which room, and we have a slide up in each Zoom room with that sponsor's logo on it. So thank Last Call Media, thank Common Media. Clever Tech is also sponsoring the hackathon on Sunday, and Homeworks Energy is a new upper level sponsor this year, so we welcome them for sure. And big thanks to them. So check out their websites. On the Nerd Summit website, just below each sponsor is a thank this sponsor link, which fast tracks your thank you into your Twitter. That would mean a lot to us here if you made some noise thanking the sponsors. So actually, I'm going to pause for a second, let that sink in. It's super easy to do. Can you imagine if we just flooded our sponsors with thank yous right now? Go to the nerdsummit.org website, scroll down to the sponsors. It's easy click, thank this sponsor. It's a really sweet feature. I think we borrowed it from NedCamp, and Rick hooked it up on our website. So we're not technically using the College of Natural Sciences facility this year, but we still want to thank them. And we worked with them, and especially Steve Brewer. It's a big part of the organizing is getting everything involved with the venue squared away. So we almost organized this conference twice. First, we organized it for a physical location, and it was pretty much done and ready to go. And we had to switch gears and almost start all over with virtual. But yeah, big thanks to College of Natural Sciences. They're our favorite venue of any time we've done this, and they host us each year, except for this year, but we adapted. The volunteers, huge part of this. Every year this gets better and better and better. We had a lot of people really involved, really engaged, and I really got to experience this when we switched gears to virtual. And you can imagine all the decisions. And the way that we operate is we don't really have, there's not really like a decision maker. We really decide a lot of things, almost everything as a group, and we communicate, and we could probably do a session on how we make that work. Maybe we could think about it, figure out how it works. But we make it all work, and it really seemed like the decision to go virtual. We did that survey. We even got, we were flying blind until we did that survey. But I was just really amazed and inspired, and with how we made that decision, and all stuck together, and all stayed aligned and effective in making it all happen. Huge thanks to Rick Hood, who I think went from 0 to hero on Zoom skills in the course of 3 days, probably. And then and just everybody else you see here on this list, really eager, jumping in, sharing their opinion fearlessly, really helped making the decisions. Yes, a session on how you put the summit together would be wonderful was a comment in the group chat. There is something, maybe the closest thing to that is tomorrow at 4. I'm just gonna kind of do like a demo of how we use the different technical tools that we use. And I'm sure I could just elaborate a little bit on different details of the summit, or it could be a conversation, could be wherever the audience wants it to go, I guess. All right, here's some information. So everything behind the scenes, behind the video screens, is likely going on in Slack. I've already, oh wait, yeah, I'm on the right slide. I've already experienced a little bit of the kind of like the dissonance that can happen. We were doing networking and coffee and networking, and some Slack stuff was happening, and it was a little tricky for me to bounce back and forth. But the one reason why I think there's going to be a draw into Slack, and things are going to keep happening in Slack, is because the Zoom chat, the group chat in Zoom, I think it doesn't like stay forever in each person's experience. But the Slack channels and the stream of communication in Slack will always be there. There's a summit channel. It's kind of a general channel. And there are, if you look through all the channels, there are various other channels and topical channels. If you're having trouble with any of that, there is a, well, actually, let me finish this because I think the next slide is what I was about to talk about. If you can't get into Slack and you want to just send an email, support@nerd, and you can send an email that'll create a ticket that'll notify us right away. You can also use a phone number. This is the phone number right there. I think it rings a few people's phones. And please read the code of conduct. One of the changes that we did is as we were building this, we wanted to make it easy for people to get in, but then that meant that at first anonymous people could get in, and we started having ideas about what kind of anonymous, even though I don't believe that we would get under attack, but we started solutioning for some, anonymous monster joining in, and we started thinking about what would we need to lock down, and we really didn't want to lock everything down, so we put that password that everybody had to use to get in, and so that's let us free up some of the features, like some of the chat and audio and video features. But that means don't be a jerk and read the code of conduct, and just, if you're someone that talks a lot, try to, be someone that listens more. If you're someone that listens a lot, try to be somebody that, that chimes in a little bit in the conversation, and be respectful and considerate of the presenter and, what they're trying to share. Okay, let's, I'm just looking into the chat, see if there's if I'm missing anything. All right, next slide. I don't know if it's updating for everybody. Now we're on the sessions room slide. So on the website, you guys found this session, and this is where there's this join link that you're gonna click. And if you're a presenter, you've got this link, and you can also find your session. Everybody clicks this join link to join into the sessions. You may have clicked this link to join into room 135. Here's where we have the sponsors for each room. And these are the session rooms. There's a help and hang out room, which is linked from the website in the place that's pictured here. Sponsored by Common Media. Rick is going to be in there with other people helping. And that's really kind of what was the original registration desk and the lobby area. I'm going to, in the coffee and networking room, we did a little bit of it this morning with icebreakers and breakout rooms, and also hoping to do some lean coffee, to facilitate some lean coffee in that room. And I'm thinking I'm going to try to do that room most of the day. So that could be a room that, if the session you wanted to see canceled, or if you don't have a session you want to see in a slot, that could be a place to check out and see what's going on in there. Meet some people, pair people up in the breakout rooms, generate topics for Lean Coffee, and then dive deeper, vote on those topics, dive deeper into those topics, and talk about those topics. All right. And today we have, in place of the party in the coffee and networking room at 5:15, we might be need to be a little flexible on that time, since people might want to walk to their kitchen and grab a bite to eat or something. We'll facilitate something with breakout rooms. So what I'm thinking for that is, as you're going through your day, kind of like think of what had a high impact on you, and what were the highlights of the day, what kind of stood out. Maybe keep some notes, because we're going to want to share back with each other, because everybody can't go to everything. So we're going to try to facilitate something that generates what the highlights were. So basically, what worked really well for you in the day that you want, that other people might want to know about. And then also we'll want to look at what we hope to get out of tomorrow. There's a whole schedule of tomorrow, and it might be nice to share back to everybody what's on deck for tomorrow that you see that might be really interesting. There's a feedback form at nerd.ngo/feedback. It's just going to be up all the time. If you think of something and you want to go to that URL and just share it right away while it's fresh, please do that. We've gotten a lot of great feedback from this forum, and we really we really take this seriously and track all this stuff, and I would say that it all gets processed and none of it slips through the cracks. As soon as we start meeting after this summit, it's really about bring our own feedback as organizers, but processing this feedback, accounting for every piece of it, and it all becomes in the last couple of years, everything eventually makes its way into a JIRA issue that we really try to accommodate and account for and improve the summit. So you're not wasting your time at all if you submit this with anything good or constructive. It's really kind of part of doing this. If we didn't get feedback, this summit would be pretty static and actually kind of boring. But it makes it really interesting to try to hear other people's perspectives and try to use that to make the summit better. Let's see. So a few words about this morning's upcoming workshops. So let's see. Like on the schedule, there's a question in the there's a question in the chat. Okay. So on the schedule, let's see. In this room, if I recall correctly, there's hacking your emotional API is one that's in this room. I think to look at I'll get through these slides and then we can look at the schedule. And so that's a question. And does anybody else have any questions? We want to look at oh, you know what? This is great. Somebody's messaging me with a great idea. I do want to say something. So thank you so much for that. Today, actually, in room 325, there's kind of this careers jobs theme of the sessions emerged. So usually we mix up the tracks so that people have to bounce to different rooms. But for the careers focused talks, those are happening in room 325. So Fit Staffing is here. They've got their annual presentation about the job situation for us nerds, followed by a sequence of other resume and career and networking focused talks. Fit Staffing will also be, they normally do a resume review where they schedule one-on-one 15-minute interviews. I think it's going to be a little bit different virtually, but keep your eye out for that. So if you wanted some direct help with your resume, that's happening there. Other than that, each time block should have a kind of a project business management strategy session, a back-end development session, a DevOpsy session, a user experience / design session. So keep your eye on the schedule for looking at the schedule. Those things should be called out as well. I probably missed a whole bunch of things, but for a big variety of sessions coming up. Any other questions? Anything that from any of the organizers or anybody listening that I overlooked in my somewhat rambling? And I think a good thing about the session schedule is the plus sign has more details on each one. Rick is pointing out that one of the sessions was moved to tomorrow. One of the sessions, so keep an eye on that. And just a reminder that we're recording everything. So this all will be up later. So if you're giving a talk and your talk is recorded, you'll be able to point to it as evidence of your thought leader status in the community, that you were at Nerd Summit and you did give a talk. And if it comes out great, it's a really great piece to point to. And it really plays in heavily in getting into bigger conferences to be able to point at previous talks that you've given. So the recording is really valuable. Let me check the, oh, we've got some action in Slack happening here. Oh, I don't know if that stopped my screen share or not.
We still see your screen.
The launching, the keynote stopped sharing, I think.
Yeah, we see the launching.
I just got a message from, so at, so Qubit, I got a message from Qubit, not sure if they're on the call. There was, when we first switched to virtual, there was some concern that a lot of people that come to the summit, they don't have great internet where they live. And so coming to the summit is no problem when it's real, because when it's in real life, because real life has higher bandwidth than the internet. So they were thinking, well, what are we going to do? Could we just use the UMass space? And kind of along the lines of that kind of solution, Qubit said, well, we've got great internet here, so the place is open, people are welcome to come, and it's a big space. They can come and maintain their social distancing just to get the internet. So they just let us know that they're there, it's open. They're probably going to leave around noon, but the password, if you do need to go down there, the password is their address spelled all the way out, 164 Race Street. So this is the schedule. These are the plus buttons that open and close, and these are the join links to get into the session. So each join link joins you into the room that's to the left of it.
Kelly, this is Lily. As your host, I would like to just point out that we have 8 minutes until the next session, and some people might want a bio break.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. There was one What did I wanted to come to this page, not just to look at the session. Well, probably good enough. All right, we've got one more slide. There you go. Go nerd out. First session started.
Yay, thank you.